The orange light above the western horizon was deepening to an otherworldly green-purple that seemed to burn in the glass. If it were St. Louis, that would be a different thing. I've given that idea up, she said. Which meant, of course, that she had investigated the possibility and found it problematic. Behind my back, of course. All of it behind my back except for the company lawyer. And she would have done that behind my back as well, if she hadn't wanted to use it as a club to beat me with. Will they buy the whole piece, do you think? I asked. All 180 acres. How would I know? Sipping. The second glass half empty. If I told her now that she'd had enough and tried to take it away from her, she'd refuse to give it up. You do, I have no doubt, I said. That 180 acres is like St. Louis. You've investigated. She gave me a shrewd sidelong look. Then burst into harsh laughter. Perhaps I have. I suppose we could hunt for a house on the outskirts of town, I said. Where there's at least a field or two to look at. Where you'd sit on your ass in a porch rocker all day, letting your wife do the work for a change? Here, fill this up. If we're celebrating, let's celebrate. I filled both. It only took a splash in mine, as I'd taken but a single swallow. I thought I might look for work as a mechanic. Cars and trucks, but mostly farm machinery. If I can keep that old farm all running, I gestured with my glass toward the dark hulk of the tractor standing beside the barn, then I guess I can keep anything running. And Henry talked you into this. He convinced me it would be better to take a chance at being happy in town than to stay here on my own in what would be sure misery. The boy shows sense and the man listens. At long last. Hallelujah. She drained her glass and held it out for more. She grasped my arm and leaned close enough for me to smell sour grapes on her breath. You may get that thing you like tonight, Wolf. She touched her purple-stained tongue to the middle of her upper lip. That nasty thing. I'll look forward to that, I said. If I had my way, an even nastier thing was going to happen that night in the bed we had shared for 15 years. Let's have Henry down, she said. She had begun to slur her words. I want to congratulate him on finally seeing the light. Have I mentioned that the verb to thank was not in my wife's vocabulary? Perhaps not. Perhaps by now I don't need to. Her eyes lit up as a thought occurred to her. We'll give him a glass of wine. He's old enough. She elbowed me like one of the old men you see sitting on the benches that flank the courthouse steps, telling each other dirty jokes. If we loosen his tongue a little, we may even find out if he's made any time with Shannon Cottery. Little baggage, but she's got pretty hair, I'll give her that. Have another glass of wine first, said the conniving man. She had another too, and that emptied the bottle. The first one, by then she was singing. Avalon in her best minstrel voice, and doing her best minstrel eye rolls. It was painful to see and even more painful to hear. I went into the kitchen to get another bottle of wine, and judged the time was right to call Henry. Although, as I've said, I was not in great hopes. I could only do it if he were my willing accomplice, and in my heart I believed that he would shy from the deed when the talk ran out and the time actually came. If so, we would simply put her to bed. In the morning I would tell her I'd changed my mind about selling my father's land. Henry came, and nothing in his white, woeful face offered any encouragement for success. "Papa, I don't think I can," he whispered. "It's Mama." "If you can't, you can't," I said, and there was nothing of the conniving man in that.